It was former CNN anchor Don Lemon's fiery exchange with a Republican presidential candidate that may have led to his firing. Last week, the anchor had a contentious exchange with Vivek Ramaswamy that apparently left some executives at the network exasperated, the New York Times reported. In recent weeks, CNN leaders were hopeful that Mr. Lemon would adjust to his new morning show role and that higher ratings would follow. On Wednesday, however, Mr. Lemon made headlines again after a highly contentious on-air exchange with Vivek Ramaswamy, a Republican presidential candidate. The segment deteriorated as the men fiercely debated questions of Black history and the Second Amendment. Mr. Lemon's co-anchor Ms. Harlow could be seen sitting silently beside him, at times casting her gaze elsewhere and scrolling through her smartphone. The incident left several CNN leaders exasperated, the People said. I think that any network that wants to foster open debate should embrace that principle by not restricting what someone can say or saying what someone can say is restricted based on their skin color. And I think they made the right decision here, the Republican candidate said to Fox News. I've been working very hard over the last 3 years, really trying to transform corporate culture in this country to embrace true diversity of thought. And I think that's going to be better for companies, I think it's going to be better for the country, and we're slowly starting to see the fruits of those efforts, he said. This is also why I, unlike many other people in my position, go out of my way to engage in dialogue with those who disagree with me, including networks outside of conservative media, because I think it's important to air what otherwise are the hypocrisies that don't get aired. And I think good things happen when hypocrisies are aired if you have good leaders who are willing to act based on that, he said. Don Lemon, who is now a former CNN host, had a temper tantrum on Twitter after claiming that he learned from his agent that he had been axed, but CNN immediately fired back at him. The former host indicated that he believed there were other issues at play as he tore into his former employer. I was informed this morning by my agent that I have been terminated by CNN. I am stunned, the former host said. After 17 years at CNN, I would have thought someone in management would have had the decency to tell me directly. At no time was I ever given any indication that I would not be able to continue to do the work I have loved at the network, he said. It is clear that there are some larger issues at play, he said before thanking his colleagues. But CNN Public Relations disputed the former host's description of events. Don Lemon's statement about this morning's events is inaccurate. He was offered an opportunity to meet with management but instead released a statement on Twitter, it said. The two women that he had issues with on his CNN morning show made quick mention of him and moved on. We do begin, though, with news about this show. As you may have heard yesterday, CNN parted ways with anchor Don Lemon. In a statement, CNN CEO Chris Licht thanked Don for his contributions over the past 17 years, writing in part, Don will forever be a part of the CNN family. We wish him well and will be cheering him on in his future endeavors. Poppy Harlow said. Absolutely. Of course, Don was a big part of this show over the last 6 months. He was one of the first anchors on CNN to have me on his show. That's something I'll obviously never forget. I agree with Chris. We wish him the best, Caitlin Collins said. Yeah, we certainly do. Don was one of my first friends here at CNN. I'm so thankful to have worked alongside him and for his support for nearly 15 years here, and I wish him all good things ahead. Caitlin and I are really proud of this show. We're so proud of the dedicated team that works around the clock to bring you the news every morning, and our priority is you, the viewer. We're grateful you welcome us into your home each morning, Harlow said. Absolutely. Of course, this morning we want to keep it the focus on the news and where that belongs. So let's get to it. CNN This Morning starts right now, Collins said.